Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel Trading Secrets. This channel is for entertainment purposes only. For those who do not know, my name is Ali. I have over 20 years experience teaching accounting, economics, business and law. Through this channel I'll be providing some stock analysis and a quick update on the $1 Million Challenge. If anybody's not aware of this is a journey of an investment of $1,000 to a return of $1 million over a period of 3 years using a strategic or compound return investing. So the objective is try to get 201 trades, each with an average return of 3.5%. It's not 201 consecutive trades, we do take into account losses. So for further details about how to join us for less than $9 a month, information is available in the description below. In today's video we're going to be looking at MMTLP and some breaking news in terms of a new Congress letter that has been shared, which certainly seems to be extremely positive. And we're also going to be looking at a quotation from Mark Basile stating that we are one day closer to a resolution. So and then we're going to finish off by having a look at some breaking news with regard to FDA for ALT, so stay tuned for that. So before we get started, let's have a look at what's happening in the markets. So first shout out here is to Stock Market News, who has stated the Fed's Jerome Powell welcomes the recent softening in inflation data. So he stated here we need to see more progress on lowering inflation to around about 2%. It has eased, but but core inflation is still too high. So it's something that they're going to keep an eye on. But certainly the trend is much more positive. So in reaction to this news, we can see the Dow Jones was climbing above 36,000 after notching a 2023 high. There was a dip in oil prices, and Pfizer is also going down in other news. And finally, if we give a shout out here to Watcher Guru, who have just posted cancel Disney and cancel Hulu are now trending on Google after Elon Musk told the CEO Bob Iger to go F himself for blackmailing him on advertising on X, previously known as Twitter. So this was obviously their attempt to try to obviously prevent free speech, and I think Elon Musk is certainly in favor of free speech, so credit to Elon for this. So let's start with the breaking news in terms of the latest Congress letter to head over to with the SEC and in particular Gary Gensler. So shout out here to Republican Josh Harder from Congress for providing this letter. So the shout out here is to Drew, who posted the details of this and sent the breaking news and saying Republican Josh Harder has sent a letter to Gary Gensler requesting a share count, a timeline for resolution, and asking the question, what is the SEC doing to work with the NextBridge Hydrocarbons to resolve this? So we're going to have a look at the letter now. So if we have a look at here, what's interesting is dated November the 30th, 2023. So hot off the press, addressed directly to Chairman Gary Gensler. And what Josh is basically saying here is obviously stated here he has heard from a number of his constituents who remain concerned about the holding and status of their shares. So in terms of no updates, no news and no status from FINRA or the SEC in terms of what is happening and what they're going to do in terms of resolving the situation. Absolutely nothing, just apart from 2 FAQs which have not really dealt with the real questions. So what Josh is saying here is the SEC and FINRA have a responsibility to protect investors and safeguard the integrity of public markets. So certainly that does not seem to be happening right now, and the constituents deserve to know what the proper regulations that are in place to protect investors and that market decisions are being made in an efficient and transparent manner. So that's the question. So over to Gary to provide an answer to this. He has been getting a number of these questions, but I think what's interesting in this particular letter is the final paragraph from what Josh is basically saying. He's saying he urges him to fully investigate the events surrounding the trading halt, ensure no wrongdoing takes place, and make the findings public, which should include an audited and consolidated share count of impacted shares and make that publicly available, and also provide clear guidance about to the constituents about what they expect to occur regarding their current holdings, timeline, and this is the interesting part, that when they should expect a resolution to take place. So that's the key here, that obviously we are expecting a resolution to take place, and this has to be from the SEC, from FINRA, and obviously from the market makers involved in this, especially the brokers as well. So guidance should include the steps the SEC is taking to work with NextBridge Hydrocarbons to work towards a resolution. So let's see what happens, and we wait until a response is provided from Gary, which should be public as well. So let's have a look at Mark Basile's quotation here earlier today, and he stated there, it's December the 1st, 2023, MMTLP, and you are 1 day closer to a resolution. So it certainly seems to be building up momentum. And in terms of news from FINRA, shout out here to Gardner Wade, who's basically stated in response to FINRA's tag, with regard to $24 million fine, and that is basically saying, wait a sec, are you saying that one of the biggest banks in the US, the Bank of America, had to pay a small fine to you, FINRA, $24 million, for basically being a bank robber for over 10 years to US citizens? So they robbed the US citizens for 10 years, and FINRA gets the $24 million. So who's going to jail? All of you. So really, the system seems to be broke. So in response to this post, shout out now to Meta News, who just posted, the house is starting to burn, tagging in FINRA. So huge amount of pressure on FINRA, and certainly do not seem to be making the progress they should be in protecting markets and protecting the integrity of markets in favour of the public interest. So let's now move on to have a look at ticker symbol ALT. So this was initially shared in our Discord by one of the members, who's asked me to look at ticker symbol ALT. Looks like something big is cooking on this one. So let's have a look at ALT. So there was information in terms of a clinical trial. So having a look at the website of ALT, also known as Altimmune, we can see here the status is that there is an ongoing, obviously, momentum study, and this is looking at the safety of pemvidutide in the treatment of obesity. So we know recently, those who've been following Pfizer will know that they have had failure in their, obviously, research and trials for the obesity drug. But what we can see here is the study will evaluate the efficacy and safety of ALT 801 once weekly versus the placebo in an adjunct to reduce calorie diet and increase physical activity in patients with obesity and overweight. So top line, 48-week results in Q4 2023. So where are we now? We are in Q4 2023, and I think the news with regard to this is obviously pushing the price up. So let's have a look at headline here from Market Watch, and it states here, Altimmune stocks soars more than 40% after the biopharma company says trial of obesity drug led to weight loss. So this is potentially huge, and it's great news for Altimmune and not good news for Pfizer. So the stock did rally 40% in the extended hours Thursday, and we're going to have a look at the chart for this right now today. And if we have a look at the 5-day chart, you can see here certainly once the news broke, there was a huge spike there, and at one time there was an opportunity to get a gain of in excess of 88%. I think over the previous 5 days it is up 27%. The news hasn't yet broken, so it's still running on rumour, and close of play today I think it's up just in excess of 12.9% at $3.57. So certainly one of those stocks that we consider high risk, high reward, ticker symbol ALT. So if you would like to get more stocks such as ALT and many of the others called in our daily stock alerts and our weekly watch list, details are in the description below. Thank you very much for watching. Please stay tuned.